I'm going to take it one step at a time, um, and let this see the light of the day before I consider that question again. But maybe.
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. The ending of the original show made sense in many ways, but left most of the viewers wanting more, which isn't uncommon when it comes to popular shows at all. But actually coming back with another season almost a decade later isn't as common. So which parts of this new continued story made you feel like the new Blood spinoff was the right thing for you to do?
Well, as I'm sure you can imagine, the possibility of returning to the show was there, sort of floating from the day we ended the series proper. I never really felt like the timing was right or the story that was proposed was worth telling. But I maintained a desire to do something that honored not just the audiences, but my own sense of dissatisfaction that accompanied the way the series ended. I mean, in a way, the dissatisfaction of that ending is the cloud for which this return is hopefully the silver lining. I mean, we wouldn't have had the opportunity we had if we'd ended in a more satisfying way,
Yeah.
But because a good amount of time had passed, the residue of having done the show had gone away. I'd done all kinds of different things as an actor in my life. And also enough time had passed for the fictional character for storytelling opportunities to be there that hadn't been up to that point. Most notably, Harrison having grown into a young adult or a man, a boy on the cusp of becoming a man. For that version of that character to reemerge in Dexter's life after all this time was, one of the linchpins in terms of telling a compelling story. And it was only for having waited that it existed.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could have flashed forward, but we didn't have to. We could act as if all this time, had passed and we were just turning the cameras back on.
Yeah. And yeah, I hope you do realize what kind of pressure you're probably putting on the Game of Thrones guys now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So prior to the first season of Dexter, you've described that how you dabbled some with some light actual stalking to get in the right headspace of the character before immersing yourself into him. What did you do to get into that space this time around?
Well, having played the character for 8 seasons and everything I did leading up to playing the character all served as preparation for this, so I think my preparation was more about the time I spent breaking, along with our writers and producers at Showtime, breaking the body of the season and the scripts. We were able to prepare the whole thing before we started shooting, and we shot it as if it were like a 10-hour movie rather than one episode at a time. And so as I considered that story, I think, a part of that process was considering the character and considering who he was now, and how he was different or how he aspired to be different. But ultimately, this was more a case of just trusting that he was still there, and showing up on set and allowing him to exist again, and he was still there. It was fun.
Yeah, and having this being a limited series, obviously, even if you would, I don't know how the series ends this time, but if your character would die this time around, by bringing Jennifer back on set this time, after what happened to her in that final episode on the original show, I'm guessing you probably will keep having to answer the question if the show might actually return again for some time. Do you think you would be open to that happening, whatever happens in this limited series? So you will have decades more of this.
I'm going to take it one step at a time, and let this see the light of the day before I consider that question again. But maybe.
Thank you for your time, and good luck with the premiere.
Thanks.